What up, guys? It's Wifey.
And Pisto.
This is Platinum Charm Podcast.
Today we are recapping the challenge finale part 2. Spoiler alert, Emmanuel is your champ for this season. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't really know how much of a competition it was in the finale. Nerys is a boss as always. Like, she can hang with a lot of really, really strong competitors. Not ditching Emmanuel, but I would like to see the time lapse between where Emmanuel ended and how far everybody else was behind him. Because the competitors he had was Nerys, Corey, Berna, and Colleen. Which, I'm sorry, but what competition? So
Corey did have a moment there where he looked like he was going to give him a run for his money.
Yeah.
He kind of took himself out of that, though, by just some silly mistakes.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
It comes down to who is the well-rounded athlete in this whole gig. Corey, when you focus on things with Corey, the things that he is good at, he is good at. He may even be in some scenarios, he could be top dog in those situations. But the little things that killed him, like the balance beam, and that I'm sure that over time, that's going to be one thing that he's I'm going to practice all the balance things before I go into another challenge.
I think it was his nerves.
It very well could have been.
I think a little bit balance beam and mostly nerves. And it's, man, I'm messing up. Oh, man, I'm losing this spiral. Yeah. And he could have been right in there.
Absolutely. I mean, there for a little bit, I was I think that Corey's about to take this whole thing. Yeah. But Nerys, she's a badass.
How do you rank Nerys against the Tories and the Laurels and the Cara Marias?
I think she's doubted a little bit. I do. She's strong.
She's very strong.
She is very, very meticulous about her. She is probably one of the top puzzle masters. She's really good. She's tiny. There's only so much that she's going to be able to just, throw around. Like Cara Maria, Laurel, Tori. Those girls all have a little bit more meat on their bones. They're gym girls. And I just don't know, Nerys wise, she's just a smaller stature girl that her strengths are something other than, hey, let me go, flip a tire.
I think if she can get over the water thing, that's going to be her Achilles heel. She has an issue with water. She has to get over that. If she can get over that, and if she can self-motivate, I think that she will be a beast, and she belong with the Tories and the Laurels. She kind of kicked it on this season when she was motivated after she kind of got betrayed, which is fine. But had that not happened, would she have been as motivated? I don't know. So if she could self-motivate and get over the water thing, I think she is a serious female contender on the challenge.
I think that's all she needed, though. I think that's what she needed this year was to be, I think it's probably intimidating to be with people that have had a, solid run, have several finals under their belt. I think it's really intimidating to be with those people. And it's experience. They have more time. They have more experience. They know other routes to take. They've maybe even done some of these challenges potentially or something similar. And that was actually something Nerys said when she went to the final. She's like, none of these other finalists have even seen this, and I have. And that was a big deal for her. But I think that even if she wouldn't have been in some of those elimination rounds, I think that she still would have bossed up.
Yeah. How do you rank Emmanuel with the other champions of the challenge? Do you think that he fits in that crew? Do you think he's kind of bottom of the barrel in that crew?
It depends on what crew of champions we're talking about. If we're talking about, CT, probably not. If we're talking about, bananas, maybe. It kind of just depends on what area of that. I do think that he is maybe starting a new generation, maybe a new beginning of a new generation of champions. The older guys are getting older.
Still getting it done, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But, Horacio and Kyland and even Corey, I don't want to count Corey out. I think that generation is starting to, start to try to dip their toes in a little bit more into being a champion.
I put him kind of in the lower group of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need to see a little bit more from him.
Sure.
Let me see him against some actual competition, because he really only had to really compete in the finale.
Yeah.
And he set himself up really well from the beginning, or things fell in line for him, one or the other, right? And he had a pretty smooth finale.
He had room for mistakes.
I didn't have to see him, kind of come from the dirt and like grind through it. He kind of just blasted through it. And good for him. Great for him.
I don't think that he can hang with like Jordan and CT.
Is, to me, the challenge king. And I'm not talking about stats. I am talking about he is one of the smartest, fiercest competitors I've ever seen. And he comes with a disadvantage. I'm talking about his hand. And he still beats people that have no disability, no anything.
No,
I mean,
that is
you consider that a disability, correct?
Sure. I mean, sure. He has a flaw that totally does not even impact any of his like ability.
Because of him.
Yes.
If anybody else had that, do you think that they...
I'm going to be a little bit tacky about that situation, and partially just because I feel like, and I'm going to go off on a little side note for a moment, but I feel like when somebody gets, and I'm a medical professional, so I feel like when somebody gets a diagnosis, they are that diagnosis. It consumes them like, oh my gosh, I have only 3 fingers. I just can't do anything because I don't have 5. And it's like, no. You can do whatever you set your mind to. And if there's a will, there's a way. And Jordan is the perfect prime example of that. Just that if you want to do it, you're going to do it.
He is something else. Anyways, I don't think that Emmanuel hangs with the Jordan level of the challengers. No. Not yet, at least. Would I like to see him get there? If he's our new generation captain, then he better get there.
I don't know if he would beat Horacio. I don't know if he'd beat Horacio, though.
I like Horacio. Horacio kind of struggles on the puzzles. A little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
But I don't think that Emmanuel just did superb on the puzzle himself. So he had to go and do something. He had to go and do everything else and then come back and complete the Sudoku.
Yeah, that's true.
And if it would have been other competitors, he wouldn't have been able to do that with Horacio or Kyland. Neither one of those he would have been able to do that with.
Interesting.
And and also with Corey, I don't know if Corey wouldn't have had an issue with the balance beam. I don't know if he would have had that option either.
Not with Horacio or Kyland in there.
No, but if Corey didn't struggle with, I don't know how long Corey spent on the balance beam.
Oh. Yeah.
There and back.
So who do you want to see come back, and who would you prefer not to see come back?
I don't want to see Berna.
Crybaby Berna.
Yeah. I don't really care to see Colleen.
Really?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
She came in 3rd, by the way.
Yeah. I don't. Those are really kind of my main 2. I think that I would like to see a resurfacing, like a refacing on challenge. Just not refacing. I don't want to say that. I would like to see a season of challenge where it's not so much geared around the social aspect, but geared around like, these are what we're doing and this is all timed based. You're not going to be able to know what other people are doing. You're not going to be able to get to see them first. Like, kind of reminds me a little bit of like cheer tryouts. Whenever it's like a closed tryout, you go in the door, you do your thing, you're your showstopper, you're your best self. There's no intimidation factor from other people. And the only people that know how well you did are the people that are judging you.
That'd be interesting.
And just see who truly, when they're able to put everything else aside who is really a really great competitor. And I would like to see that. I think it would be really fun if there's a little time box, because we're always talking about it when we're watching the show of like, well, I wonder how long that took them, or I wonder how this worked out.
Yeah. Who do you want to see come back?
Nerys.
Absolutely.
I would like to see Emmanuel come back.
Absolutely.
I would like to see Corey come back. I'd like to see Raven come back. Who else?
Horacio
and Kylan, of course. Yeah.
What about that guy that Jordan took out in the very beginning?
Oh.
He kind of seemed like people were kind of treating him like he was going to be a tough competitor. We didn't get to really see because Jordan
the
is
blonde
Jordan.
Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see him. What about, and I don't remember all these guys' names. This season was kind of long.
It was good.
It was really good. I would like to see the girl Zaza. I would like to see Zaza. I bet she hangs.
We got some good females this season.
They did have some really Raven, Zaza. Who were some others that I really liked? Those were some that I really liked.
Yeah. It was an interesting season.
It really was.
Give me your kind of thoughts of the whole season and what you liked, didn't like, what you kind of hope to see next season.
The whole goal of this season was finding a new champion. So that comes into play with like a lot of the social aspect of it was, Michelle and Jay have been kind of long term. They're like some of the ones that have been on the challenge for probably more seasons than anybody else on there. So they've kind of got to play a little bit of the social aspect, but I feel like that whole thing would not have worked in any other challenge season than this one.
Oh.
Just because of the lack of experience from a lot of the people. The
vets would have shut it down.
Oh, it would have been done.
Interesting.
There's a reason why they've been on the challenge so long, and they've never been champion. Made it, hung, been able to be there.
Interesting.
So, for me personally, I thought that the finale, the competition was a little bit lame. Because you want in the finale, and here's where the whole like social aspect comes in, is that you don't have to be the strongest competitor if you play the mental game as well. And I think for me, I love the competition. I love to see the best of the best come out and just dig deep for that championship title.
Even if they've given you the whole season of that to get to the finale, that's not enough?
I just want to see the competition.
Nonstop. My thoughts on the season as a whole, I thought TJ is the perfect host for the challenge.
Absolutely.
And once again was a great host. Always has been a great host and will continue to be a great host for the challenge. But I enjoy watching TJ season after season and the way that he kind of changes things and brings the energy and stuff. So I loved that.
Yeah.
I thought that the challenges themselves, the actual challenges, were super fun this season. They did a lot of just exciting, new, fun to watch challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the camera work was really probably the best that's ever been on the challenge.
Yeah.
Like the editing and the camera work, a lot of slow motion stuff. They really kind of elevated the production this season. I enjoyed the cast a lot. I loved the whole battle for a new champion, but still incorporating the old champions.
Mm-hmm.
You still get to see the people you want to see. So I really enjoyed it, and this was my favorite season of the challenge so far. I would love to see just take this group and our normal group and throw them together and let's battle it out and see how it goes. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah. I had like a train of thought on that, and then I didn't want to interrupt you, so I kind of forgot about it. They're in Croatia, and it is really it is really cool that they're able to kind of, it's almost seeming like this is the challenge's new roots a little bit.
It works for them, though.
It works very well. But Croatia is beautiful.
It is beautiful. Yeah.
It is beautiful.
How do you feel about, and this just barely hit me, they're doing, how do you feel about the money thing? They have to fight for their bank. And how do you feel about it being only one champion and it's the males versus the females? Would you prefer to see one male champion, one female champion to kind of even that playing field?
Yeah, because it's very different. And you can see it in this finale. When there was a male carrying some of the, big question boxes, that when they had to answer the question, pick the right answer, carry your big box, that is what knocked Colleen and Nerys back the furthest. There is differences.
Which is a bad draw.
It's just the way that it lines up, right? But the competition is not level. It's not even.
What if they did a teams season where it was a male and a female and they had to pick their team and audition as a team? A male and a female.
I think it's probably happened. But I do think that if they do that, they do need to split the money down the middle.
Oh, and don't let someone steal it?
Mm-hmm.
Just a curious thought. I personally feel like they should be in separate categories to make it an even playing field, right? Because had the challenges been, if they're physical challenges, you would assume that the guys probably have an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a mental strategic puzzle, then that kind of evens the playing field.
Well, Nerys knocked out two of the strongest competitors because of
puzzles. But how do you keep that fair? Because it's like, in a singles tournament and you're doing mostly strength or, male-oriented challenges, and that's what you chose, you've kind of pushed a little bit of a male champion. Yeah. Not saying that a female couldn't come in there and win. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, do you have it be, if you're going to do one, right? One male, one female, and you even that playing field. Males versus males, females versus females.
Yeah.
And they all run the challenge they all run the finale at the same time.
Yeah.
But they're kind of competing. I'm a big fan of even playing field.
Yeah. I could agree with that. And I'm just going to send this to TJ. I'm just going to tell him this is my idea.
What?
Of challenge. I think since you brought up the money pot, if they were to have a session where people did their own, their own timed things. So based off of 1st to 15th place, whatever it is like that. First place, this is how much is in their money pot. Second place, this is how much is in there. Basically you set your money pot. If that person, there's a big bowl that's kind of cut between these guys based on their placement. But if the person that's in number one spot, if they've contributed the most to the pot, if they get eliminated, that money just kind of goes back to the pot of not from the finale. Does that make sense?
What if each competitor came in with a bank, an even bank, and they had to bet their bank on their challenge? They could bet X amount of their bank. I'm going to place top 5, or I'm not gonna perform well, however that looks, right? And they play with their own money. But then again, it's like
they kind of did that
fight for big money with that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of going into the whole thing of them, if they lost certain challenges, they lost money or they gained money kind of situation. So
it was good. It was good, motivating, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
They kind of didn't come out of the season with a ton of money. No. There was $250,000 for Emmanuel, which is great, but not compared to some other seasons. But make them earn it though.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
To be a champion, you got to beat a champion. That's what TJ said this whole season.
Yep.
How do they top this next season?
I don't know, but they will.
think it's going to be difficult. I thought that was a really well-made season.
This is the same thing we said about the last 5 seasons. How are they going to top it? And every season we say that was the best season.
Shout out to the challenge then. If they're just constantly elevating, I do think that would be hard to beat.
If you take my idea of my really great idea, I'm going to think it's the greatest idea ever. Could you just give me like a baby credit down at the bottom that's just like, good job?
I like the timed idea thing. It doesn't have to be the whole season like that, but throw some contests in there where it's like blind contest. You don't get to see what anybody else does. Go and do your best. Fall in line off your time. See what happens.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
Love the challenge.
We love it.
Really fun watch. And we will see what's coming next.
It's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
We'll share it with you guys when it happens.
Okay.
All right, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.